I'm excited to do this one. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the special episode of Kevin at 7. It is 9 a.m. Central Time where I am in Abilene, Texas this morning. I'm actually at my cousin David's house, sitting here in his kitchen. So David and I were best friends growing up, and we're first cousins. And we've seen each other over the years. But he lived in South Dakota for a long time, and when I lived in Texas, he lived in South Dakota. And then when he moved back to Texas, I lived in California. So we haven't really got to spend a lot of time together. So we got to spend this weekend together. And all day yesterday, we took a road trip up to memory lane, up through my hometowns, Anson, Texas, and Spur, Texas, and other places in between. And we went out to the cemetery where my mom is buried, and his parents are both buried in the same cemetery in Buffalo Gap. Good morning, my love. My wife just texted me. And so it's very cool. So I'm excited to introduce him to you today. I'm not gonna necessarily bring him on, but I'm gonna introduce who he is because he's just like a great guy. So what we're gonna talk about today, as I have spent the weekend strolling down memory lane and going back to my hometowns, where I went from 3rd grade through my junior year in high school. That's in Anson and Spur. I lived from 3rd grade to junior high. So good morning, everybody. As you come on, make sure you post where you are in the world today so I can say hello to you guys. We got dogs and cats running around here, so maybe a little background noise, maybe a lot of background noise. So good morning, Rhonda from Edinburgh. Hey, Jasmine from sunny Orange County. Good morning, Rusty from Denver. John Wallace, Catherine Wallace to John Wallace. All right. Tiago from Portugal. Good to see you, my friend. And Jonathan from Dallas. Hey, Jonathan, I'll be watching for Facebook posts for and the Yes Masters group. For those of you, if you're in Texas, in Dallas-Fort Worth, I'm going to be getting together. I'm not sure which night yet. It's probably going to be either tomorrow night or Wednesday, probably tomorrow night, Tuesday night. I'll let you guys know where and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned. It'll be like 7:30 at night. So you'd be done with your work and all that kind of stuff. Good morning, Julio from Miami. And there's a whole bunch of you. I can't greet everybody. So good morning, Pam from Pensacola. Myra from Palm Harbor. A lot of you guys in Florida. Maria from Miami. Diane from Houston. Awesome. And we got Vikas from Delhi, India. Love it. From Lexington, Kentucky. Somebody that I missed. Amanda from Albany, New York. Good morning. Joanna from Milwaukee. Peggy from Prescott. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me for this special episode of Kevin at 7. So stroll down memory lane. How do you overcome your past? How do you make and get the most out of your past without being stuck from the bad things of your past and from the things that can hold you back, the limiting beliefs, the failures, the bad memories, the heartbreaks, and all that kind of stuff, everything from your past that can mess you up for your future? How do you overcome that? The keys to overcoming your past. Now, some of you are like, the first question is do we really have to overcome your past? And my answer to that is yes, because for 99% of us, our past did not prepare us for greatness. Our past, our growing up, did not prepare us to become the best that we could become. It did not prepare us to live into our potential. It prepared us to play it safe. It prepared us to make sure that we pleased other people. It prepared us for a life of mediocrity. And unfortunately, thank you, sir. So my cousin just made me a fresh cup of coffee. It prepared us for trying to just get by. And it prepared us, honestly, for a life that most Americans, most people in the world will look back on with massive regrets of things they should have done different. If you guys are understanding that, can I see some thumbs up? If this makes sense, that I believe that for 99% of us, your past is something you must overcome in order to win. I know that's they said, thank you, David, for making me coffee. They're like, that was nice of your cousin. Thank you, Pam. Yes, it was nice of him. So don't be attached to your past, or you're going to not get the message. You're not going to learn the lessons that I'm going to share with you today that I've learned, and lessons that were reinforced to me yesterday, and how different going back, how different the world looks today, going back and how far I've come and how hard it was to come the distance I have traveled. Not just the miles, but the mindset shift and the way of thinking, and then reconnecting with old friends on social media when I was posting stuff. Here I am in Spur, Texas, and all that kind of stuff. And I haven't posted anything from Anson, so all the people in Anson don't know I was even there. Not that anybody would care or remember me. So how do you overcome your past? You guys good with that? Like if we talk about overcoming your past, can I see some thumbs up? If you're good with this. All right. So I'm going to share with you guys 3 things about overcoming your past. So number one, appreciate your past. This is not a repudiation of your past. Like, well, that was not me. That did not happen. It's not living in denial and going like, no, my past was not real, right? Or suppressing memories. Because if you suppress the past, like you deny it, then it's part of who you are. It's part of the fabric of your life. It's part of the roots of who you have become. And while there may have been a lot of negative things happen in your past, a lot of limiting beliefs that were imposed on us, a lot of experiences that we took that shaped our self-image or a lack of self-image that caused us to have self-doubt and not believe in ourselves. That's all came from your past. Okay, do you understand? Every fear that you have today, every limiting belief, every doubt that you have about your ability to achieve greatness, all came from your past. None of it is happening in your present. Can I get some thumbs up? Okay. Every limiting belief, every fear, every self-doubt is from your past. And it's what's holding you back from your future. So you got to acknowledge that, and yet at the same time, appreciate it. Don't get mad about it. Don't resent it, because to resent it is to repudiate or reject a lot of your identity of who you actually are. And with all of the good, the bad, and the ugly from your past, it made you who you are today. And so the way I look at it is, you appreciate that. You got to appreciate the positive. So all of us in our past have good and we have bad. So I look back at my past and going back to my hometowns, I was like, okay, that was where I first got beat up. We literally, guys, yesterday for the first time in decades, I literally stood in the spot where Buddy beat me up and on my first day of 3rd grade. I literally stood in that spot where he broke my brand new glasses, and the first day I got bullied. I stood in that spot, and then without realizing, I went, as we were leaving town, I saw the spot where we had lived in our motorhome. Okay, we lived in a motorhome. I mean, that was like, we didn't have a house. We didn't even have a mobile home. We had a little motorhome that we lived in. That was our home. And we had a motorhome and we had a car. That was it. We lived in a motorhome that was like, my sister and I slept on the bench seats in the back of the motorhome on each side of the table. That's where we slept. Mom and Dad slept up over the cab in the little bunk bed, a little bed above the cab on this little bitty motorhome. That's where we lived. And it was in that motorhome at that spot where my mom told me that after I got beat up, she said, you did the right thing to not fight back. You just turn the other cheek, and kids like Buddy that bully you will leave you alone. And so I learned to not fight back. I learned to not stand up for myself. So that's a very painful memory. Not just the pain of getting beat up and humiliated, but the pain of realizing that that was when I was conditioned to not stand up for myself. I was conditioned. I was taught to believe, my mom didn't mean to teach me this, but I was taught to believe you're not worth fighting for. Your dreams are not worth fighting for. You're not worth standing up for. And so I learned to live in fear of everything and every conflict and every confrontation. I lived in fear for 50 years of my life. But I appreciate it. I mean, I look back on it and go like, if that had not happened, so much of the message that I have today to help you and to motivate people, inspire people of how you can overcome would not have happened if I didn't appreciate that. And the fact that I've been able to go back and now come to terms with that and realizing, okay, that shaped a lot of who I became, but it does not keep me from becoming something great today. Okay, if you guys are with me, let me see some thumbs up. So number one, appreciate your past, both the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the positive lessons, there were great things I learned. I learned to be nice to people. I learned kindness. I learned respect. I learned forgiveness. I learned integrity. I learned a moral compass. All that is from my past, and I appreciated that. We went by and we drove by the churches where I grew up going to church and all that. And I was so funny when we went by Anson. It was Sunday, and the church where I grew up going every week, there was a Mercedes-Benz in the parking lot, and I thought, man, oh man, when I was there, if somebody had parked a Mercedes, come to church in a Mercedes-Benz, they would have been judged and criticized like crazy for being so worldly that they bought a luxury car. So it's kind of crazy the things that I saw and observed. So number one, appreciate your past. Number two is learn from your past. Learn from your past. Learn from the things that you experienced that were good, that helped you understand the way things are. Learn from your failures. Learn from your mistakes, right? The past is the proving ground. It's the training ground. Okay, so number one, appreciate your past. So somebody type in number one, appreciate your past. Number two, learn from your past. Learn from your past. Now, the question is, are we learning the right stuff from our past, or are we learning the wrong stuff from our past? So the key is you have to always be alert to continuing to learn, so that when I can look back and go like, all my life I thought it was this way. And here's what I learned from my past. I learned from my past that money doesn't grow on trees. I learned from my past that money doesn't make you happy. I learned from my past that money is the root of all evil. I learned from my past that to be realistic. And I look back at all those lessons that I learned from my past. I learned them, but they were wrong. Right? So when I say learning from your past, you've also got to go back and challenge the things that you were taught in your past that aren't true. Like money won't make you happy. Well, that is it's true, but it's not true. Because when we say, well, look, money will not make you happy, what people are saying is that if you get a lot of money, you're not going to be happy. That's the implication. So be content to be poor. Be content to just be average. That was the implication. Don't spend all your time going after money. The problem with that is it's saying money's not important. When the message that I got was money won't make you happy. That was the statement. But the value was taught money's not important. And yet the reality was, and from observation, now go back and look at your past. Who are the people that are most obsessed with money? And here's who's obsessed with money: people that don't have enough. Who thinks more about money? Who spends more emotional bandwidth focused on money? People who can't pay their bills. The people who say money's not that important, money won't make you happy, and yet they spend all of their children's waking hours at a job doing something they don't like to do for one reason: to make money, to get what they say won't make you happy. While their kids grow up and they're off chasing a paycheck, because you got to have a paycheck to survive. So yes, it is true, money will not make you happy. Newsflash, neither does oxygen. I mean, does anybody woke up this morning and like, I got oxygen, I'm so happy? See, oxygen does not make you happy. But when you don't have enough of it, it's all you can think about. And you ever had somebody hold you under the water where you couldn't get oxygen? The moment you go underwater and you can't get breath, that's all you're thinking about, right? When you have plenty of it, you don't have to think about it. So limiting beliefs, you got to go back and learn from the past and challenge the old beliefs and go like, is this true? Is this not true? Is this helpful? Does this help me move my life forward, or does this keep me stuck in mediocrity and limiting beliefs? Everybody understand? So number one, appreciate your past. Number two, learn from your past. But be willing to go back and challenge the things you were taught and the things that you learned in your past that weren't true. And now what can I learn from that? Okay. Number three is leave your past in the past. Leave your past in the past. You want to overcome your past? You got to leave it there. Do not bring the problems of the past and put them into the present. The failures of the past, they do you no value bringing them and dragging them along and slamming them right down in your present and go like, man, I was so bad and I still feel guilty. That does not serve you. It does not serve the people that you may feel like you may have wronged or any of that kind of stuff. Thank you for the thumbs up, guys. You guys with me? So number 3 is that you must leave your past in the past. Do not stay stuck in your past. Do not try to relive your past. There are people that you know, people that I know, that they think the happiest moments of their life are when they're reminiscing about how they were, when they went to state on their football team, or they were all district, or they were this, or they were that. And all they can do is talk about their accomplishments of the past because they're not doing crap in the present moment. Right now in their life, they're unhappy, they're discontent, they're stuck in complacency, they're stuck in fear, they're stuck in guilt, they're stuck in procrastination. And the only joy they find is going back and talking about how awesome they were in high school or in college. The good old days. My friends, the good old days were not, look, here's the problem with the good old days. Number 1, you weren't as old as you are now. And number 2, you weren't as good as you were then either. And so don't think they were the good old days. You weren't that good and you weren't as old. It's cool to go back and reminisce like we did yesterday, but I'm not going to try to relive and bring that past into my future and go like, man, was I awesome back then? Right? So don't get stuck in your past. There is no true happiness today. You will never find true happiness today from the past. And they're trying to take your past accomplishments and bring them in the future and say, I'm happy because I did that back then. No, you're getting stuck in the past. You cannot do that. So you got to leave your past in the past. Now I'm going to give you a couple of things that if any of my old friends from Spur or Anson watch this video, may offend some of them. But it would only offend the ones that are still stuck in their past. So I'm driving back through the towns, and of course they're rural country towns in Texas, out in the country. I mean, they're far from cities and all that. So rural America, as much as I love it, is dying. The towns are dying. People are moving away. The population, when I lived in Spur, Texas, population was about 1,700. And yesterday I took a picture of the city limit sign, and it's like 1,300 people. So that town has gone down from 1,700 people down to 1,300 people. That's the town is drying up. And the school district, the actual average class size, because we looked up the 2019, how many kids are active from K through 12, and the average class size is down by nearly 50%. So the towns are dying. And I'm going down Main Street in Spur, Texas. I got video on this. I'll share some of this with some of you guys. We took video, and I mean, it was like literally driving through a ghost town. I mean, the town was just shut down, and there was vacant space after office building, stores shut down. I mean, it was really kind of heartbreaking in a way. All right. So, hey, Bill, JP, Billy Joel says the good old days weren't always good, and tomorrow ain't as bad as it seems. What song was that, JP? That's cool. What is the saying? Kim says, obsessing about the past is hoping for it to have a different outcome or something like that. Yeah, for sure. So here's the other thing about leave your past in the past is there are friendships, there are relationships that you had in the past that if you have them, if you carry them into the present moment, if you have some of those relationships, if those people are still stuck in the past or they are still stuck in mediocrity, they will keep you from realizing your own greatness and your ability to achieve your potential. Because when you look at your friends, you're looking at your future. And I went back there, and as I'm looking, I'm like, I told David, I said, how could somebody live here? Because you're living in a town that is dying. And I see people that are, we're driving by houses, good people. These are great people. I mean, salt of the earth people. And I'm driving and I'm looking at them, and they're living their lives, and they're stuck. And across the street from their home are 3 buildings that are shut down. They're dilapidated, literally one with the roof completely caved in. I walked by the old Super Dog in Anson, Texas, where the rich kids that had lunch money that didn't have to go to the school cafeteria, where they would run across the street from the school and they would stand in line to buy chili cheese dogs and corn dogs and Frito pies and all the good, yummy food. And that place has been closed down for no telling how many years. And I mean, it's literally just falling apart. And I'm like, I can't imagine driving every day through a street like this. And this is no judgment to people that are living there, but I'm telling you, if you want greatness, you got to get in an environment where greatness happens. And if you are surrounded by things decay and decadence and things falling apart, where there is no life, where there is no pursuit of greatness, you got to get out of that environment. Does it make sense? The people that you hang out with, the environment that you are in is dramatically powerful in shaping who you are today and who you will become in the future. There's no aspiration. There's no pull to ascend to higher levels of existence and success and accomplishment and impact on the world. So you have to get unstuck from that. And so I'm looking at, and I'm reconnecting with people on Facebook from high school days, from elementary school. I'm reconnecting with them, and I'm watching, and I'm looking. I'm going like, some of those people I would hang out with today, and you can tell it by the way they show up on social media because of their life. Now, I'm not saying the way people show up on social media is always actually the way their life is, because we always had the filter, right, to make ourselves look better than we really are. A lot of times, most people do. But I look at some of their lives and I'm like, they're still stuck in mediocrity. I couldn't hang out with them because we wouldn't have anything to talk about. We reminisce about the past for a while, but that would be it, right? And so I'm hanging out yesterday. So I'm in Abilene, this is where I came yesterday morning, where my cousin David lives with his wife, and he grew up here, and then he moved away and they owned a business in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. They sold it about 6 or 7 years ago, moved back to Abilene, and they're building their life here in Abilene. And I come back to hang out with him. And the thing I love about hanging out with David and his wife is that they are not stuck in their past, and their past has not dictated their present and their future. And to David, who growing up had all kinds of, he was bullied. He had all kinds of limiting beliefs put on him and on his life. But this guy is creative. He is like a learner, a student of life, and a student of success. And today, him and his wife are virtually financially free. And they live in this gorgeous house that I'm sitting in that they bought. They renovated it. And now they're actually just bought another new house that they are in the process of renovating. And they're moving out of this house and turning this into a rental property. And they own over 20 homes. They own over 20 rental properties here in Abilene. And their cash flow from that makes them more money than they need every month to spend. So they're financially free. Now they still work. Because they're still building. So you went with me on this road trip through, and just the times we got to talk about, but we're talking about life. We're talking about success. We're talking about our dreams. We're not just talking about the good old days. I'm hanging out with David and I'm being inspired, and I'm hopefully inspiring him. And all of that is my past relationship with him. I can have a relationship with him today and it doesn't pull me down. Does that make sense? I mean, there's some people that are family friends from the past that if you hung out with them, they're going to pull you down. They're going to stick you in complacency. They're going to stick you in a comfort zone. They're going to refill your brain with limiting beliefs. You have to leave your past in the past. And that means some of the relationships from the past, you're going to have to leave those relationships in the past. Okay. If you guys got this, if you guys get this, can you just say, got it? Like post on that thing, got it? Yes, I love it. So this was just stuff all weekend. I've been thinking about coming back here and driving back here yesterday morning. I got up really early and drove down to Abilene, and then we went out to Buffalo Gap where David and I played as kids because he lived that direction, and been going to the cemetery where our parents, my mom's buried. My dad will be buried there in the future. He's doing great, by the way. Some of you are asking how my dad's doing. So my dad had open heart surgery a week ago today. He had open heart surgery, triple bypass, and he is home. We brought him home on Saturday. So I got to bring him home on Saturday and with his wife. And we came home and hung out with him all day Saturday, and then came up here yesterday, and then I'm going back today. Spend some more time with him and work with you guys, all my coaching members. I'll be on coaching calls tomorrow and all of that kind of stuff, and Wednesday, and then I'm flying back to LA on Thursday. So guys, I just been thinking about this so much, and I'm like, your past is so awesome if you learn from it, if you appreciate it, and if you leave it there. But bringing it into your future, there is no happiness in your past for today. It's just not. Memories are awesome. Love them. But memories can mess you up if you don't interpret the memories correctly. Because here's one thing last thing. One thing I learned for sure yesterday is your memories do not tell you the truth. They do not tell you the truth. All my memories yesterday, going back to the places, and I literally went back to some of the places where pivotal moments in my life happened. And it was like, some of them were like, wow, that's how I remember it. But more often than not, it was like, I did not, it's way smaller than it used to be. I mean, it's way uglier than I remember. It was like, that's not where I thought this was. I thought it was there. This is not the way I thought it was. And it was kind of like retesting and reinforming your mind about what it really is like. Isn't that crazy? So my friends, that is what I learned this weekend. Thank you guys for the thumbs up. By the way, if you've not yet got your tickets for FX Extreme Training Camp, June 19th through the 20th, go to thefxextreme.com, thefxextreme.com/live 2019. Get your tickets. Early bird pricing ends this week. So you want to make sure you get your tickets this week before prices go up. And I appreciate you guys so much. You inspire me. You make my day. So thank you for spending time with me this morning. Have an awesome day. Play to win. Always expect yes. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning for another special episode of Kevin at 7, where we talk about Tactical Tuesday. Stay tuned. For those of you that live in Dallas-Fort Worth, I'll be posting where I'm going to be hanging out to meet with you guys one of the evenings, either tonight, tomorrow, or Wednesday. It'll probably be tomorrow or Wednesday, but I'll let you guys know later today exactly when and where that's going to be. And it'll be an awesome time. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for the hearts. You guys rock. We'll see you tomorrow.